What's going on, everybody? It's Blake Bowman here with Gorilla Zen Fitness, and today, I got a lot of stuff going on today, but I wanted to make some content for you all. And there's one really important topic that I wanted to talk about, and it's the importance of hip hinging and knowing how to do this properly. And before I get into that, I kind of want to explain the hip joint and why it's important to learn how to hinge there. Okay, so basically the hip connects your upper body to your lower body. And this is the primary joint that's responsible for, basically anytime you pick something up, you need to be able to hinge from the hips. Because if that motion is not occurring at the hips, then it's likely occurring at the level of the, spine, particularly the lumbar spine, right? Like if you don't know how to bend from the hips, most likely the way that you're going to bend and the movement pattern that you're going to learn is going to be one associated with lumbar flexion, okay? Things like this, rounding from the lower back. And that is horrible to do, especially when under load. And what I mean by under load is when your body, when you're picking something up, okay? Like whether it's weights or a box, anything that's, external to yourself that has weight. When you flex your spine like that under load, that's where you're really getting into dangerous territory where you can, herniate a disc, all sorts of spinal injuries can happen. And it's all from faulty movement patterns and not knowing how to hinge from the hips. So what I wanted to do today was show you an exercise that you can actually use to teach your body how to hip hinge properly, okay? And basically with this exercise, you can actually just treat this as what they call a neuromuscular re-education exercise, where you're teaching your body new movement patterns. I've made a video about learning the exercise right the first time and how it affects the nervous system. You could check that out in the description down beneath this video. I made that a long time ago, but basically in that video, I showed that it only takes a couple hundred reps to teach your body a new movement pattern, whereas it takes about, a couple thousand reps to override it and teach yourself a new one, kind of reprogramming over on top of the last one. So if you're just starting off with fitness, then this is a great exercise to learn the importance of hip hinging. It's very low impact. You can just do this a lot at the end of your workout or before your workout. Or if you're somebody that's been working out for a long time and you're trying to reprogram your nervous system and teach your body to hip hinge properly, then this is also a good exercise. Okay, so one tool that's really helpful for this is just like a stick. Okay, you can use like a broomstick, a dowel rod. I have one of those painting sticks at my studio. Here at our house, I just have this random like rod thing. I don't really know what this is, but this will do the job. It's basically just a straight line. Okay, so any kind of stick that's straight is going to work. Okay, and keep in mind, like I said, this is an exercise that teaches you how to hip hinge properly. Okay, and what you do with this is you essentially put it on your back. Okay, you're gonna make sure that it's connected to your pelvis. You want your hand like right at your waistline. Okay, you want the rod running all the way up and down your spine, and you want to keep as much spinal contact with it as you can. Really, you're looking for about 3 points of contact: your pelvis, your thoracic spine, which is your upper back, and your head. Okay, and what you do to basically teach yourself the hip hinge, you just start hip hinging, and this ensures that your spine is staying neutral and you're not bending from the spine. Essentially what you do is you keep that rod in contact with your back and you just start bending from the hips like this, okay? Making sure that all of those points stay in contact with the stick, okay? Now, one way that you're gonna know that you're doing this wrong and not hinging from the hips and flexing from the lumbar spine is if it comes off like this, okay? If it comes off like this at any point, that means that you're flexing somewhere at the spinal level, okay? So it has to stay in contact with the upper back, the head, and the tailbone, okay? Just like this, okay? So basically, to teach this as a movement pattern, you can literally just do what I'm doing right now for repetitions. I'd say do 15 reps in one set and do 5 sets of this, like I said at the beginning or the end of your workout. And that's pretty much it. You want to make sure that that thing stays in contact. Like I said, if it pops off anywhere, whether it's your head or your lower back here, that means that you're flexing, you're rounding from your spine, and that is not good. So keep the whole thing on there and practice this technique. Now I do want to say, whenever you're doing like squats or deadlifts, you're getting flexion you're hinging from the hips and the knees, right? You wouldn't want to necessarily deadlift like this unless you're doing like a stiff leg deadlift. But normally you would couple that hip hinging motion with hinging at the knee joint too, bending at the knee, okay? most people don't have a hard time learning how to bend from the knee. In fact, most people are a little too knee dominant when it comes to squats and deadlifts anyway. So learning the hip hinge is really where it's at, and that can really help you out in functional situations, okay? So, you know, that's it for today. I really hope that this video helped you out. If it did, you're not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead and do that over here somewhere. Also, if you haven't picked up my ebook, Posture, the Ultimate Life Hack, make sure you pick up a copy of that for yourself. And that's it for today. I'll see you next time.